Welcome. You tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar, and with me, as always, is my co-anchor Pavitra Parekh. So, Pavitra, market really looking good today, but there are several global cues that the market is really digesting. But at this point, I would say that Nifty 50 is making all the effort possible to break above a certain level, but it is not yet successful. So, 17,984 level. So, yes, kissing distance to that 18,000 mark. Whether or not we can really cross that mark is the big question that we are really looking at as of today. When it comes to Bank Nifty, it is underperforming the key indices, but some of the financials are the bigger supporters of Nifty 50, and the heavyweights like HDFC Twins are the ones which are contributing the most today. And the mid-cap universe in line with the key indices today, over 1% gain in trade. When we talk about the overall contribution coming in, I spoke about HDFC Twins. Big boy Reliance Industries also, since before its results till now, has been showing very good performance, along with some of the IT counters like even Infosys, L&T, and even some of the other financials like Kotak Mahindra Bank. NTPC, DRL, Apollo Hospitals are some of the losers in trade today.
Like you said, we have a good-looking screen, and while we're not yet at 18,000, we're inching towards that level. What's important is that we opened above the resistance level at 17,850, and we've held above that level ever since the start, right? In fact, we've only moved higher. So let's see how the rest of the trading session pans out. Of course, a bunch of the volatility does come in, usually in the second half. So we'll see how that goes. Today, a lot of the gains coming in from the auto pack, and some of the IT names also supporting. So a few of the auto names are up on your screen. IT, in addition to the large caps, you have some of the mid caps also which are holding up quite well. So take a look at few of those. And pharma is quite split. Like Ekta said, you have DRL, Apollo on the downside, but you do have stocks like Sun, Divi's which are seeing some good gains. In terms of cues, this week it is going to be all about the Fed meeting that we're watching out for. So that is the big cue for us to track, and we're going to keep bringing you updates on that front. But let's now talk about all of the individual stocks that are on our radar after, their earnings that came through. We have Maruti. They actually saw a robust set of Q2 earnings. The management commentary has also been extremely strong. In fact, brokerages have gone ahead and raised their target price. And Parikshit, our colleague, spoke to R.C. Bhargava, who's chairman of Maruti Suzuki, on the company's growth outlook going forward. So let's listen into that.
It's not fully behind us yet. There's still problems in some of the vehicles, and we expect this problem to continue for at least another 2 months. So we have really not been able to produce as much as we needed to produce, as much as the demand was there. That's why the back orders have gone up, and there is scope for improvement.
Right. Also, to ask you about the growth of the automotive industry, you expect the automotive industry to grow at 8% in the next fiscal. You said that we're looking at record volumes for the auto industry. Will Maruti Suzuki's growth be in line with industry?
We will attempt to do that, yes.
But we also see some pressure, some continued pressure when it comes to the entry-level segment. Will that be a challenge when it comes to meeting the industry growth rate?
We have taken that into account when we have made our projections for the next year.
Mr. Bhargav, now coming to volumes of entry-level cars, give us a sense as to, on a quarter basis, how have they been impacted, and how do sales for the entry-level cars, the bread and butter segment for Maruti, look like?
The entry-level segment in this quarter too has shown a growth. It's the first time it's shown a growth after many quarters. But I think this is the result of the festival season and the fact that whatever people could manage, they came out and bought now. We do not expect that this quarter two growth in will continue as we go ahead this year.
So,
over the last 3 years, this segment has declined by something close to 30% now.
So I'll just take that again. You're saying that you do not.
All right, so that was the management of Maruti speaking to our colleague there. Let's shift focus to another stock in news today, and that's Bandhan Bank. It's down 9% in trade. at the moment, and it tanks as brokerages cut FY23 as well as the 24 earnings estimates after a weak set of Q2 numbers. And it was earlier today that we spoke to the management. Well, Chandrasekhar Ghosh, MD and CEO of Bandhan Bank, told us that the slippages are likely to continue in the coming quarters. However, they are expecting the business growth to be strong for the rest of the financial year. Let's listen in to his forward-looking commentary on Bandhan Bank.
A normal sum of this, the slippage will come. It is now coming on that the 500 to 800 crores has come to this the quarter basis on that. So when the second and third quarter will come, which the business growth level is coming very high, there is first the point of that the NIM are always we are looking on that the 7.5 to 8% is our targeted, and we'll be like to reach.
All right, that is the Bandhan Bank management. The street really not taking light of any of those comments. The stock is still down around 9%. The other one which is tanking in trade is Intellect Design. This after weak quarterly earnings. The main issue this time came through on the margin front. It's at 16% versus the 26% that we saw in the corresponding quarter last year. So the management, however, has told CNBC-TV18 that it is confident of achieving the 20% margin mark for the full year. So let's listen in to what they had to say.
If we are looking for the margin, there are two reasons. We move from our product business to a platform business, which is resulting into a not immediate booking, but we booked 4 orders, and those orders translate into $2.9 million. And there are $3.1 million which has got shifted, where we won the order, but contracting is not completed before 30th September. So if you put that in context, I think we are in the same number, around 125 crores of EBITDA would have been there. Just 20% plus on EBITDA margins, that's what we are saying.
All right, so the markets are punishing those particular counters who are not giving good performance in terms of earnings. So on that note, we'll slip into a short breather on Business Lunch. But remember, electronic subsystems contract manufacturer DCX Systems IPO has opened for subscription today, and we'll get you all the details after a very short break. So stay tuned for all the IPO action as well.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18, and let's get talking about the IPO market now. Electronic subsystems contract manufacturer DCX Systems IPO has opened for subscription today. Vahishta is joining us to tell us more about the issue, and Vahishta, also a new company on the block, so tell us a little bit about the company as well.
Definitely, Pavitra. DCX Systems is the new kid on the block today, and it opens its issue today. It's a contract manufacturer of electronic subsystems and cable harnesses, and amongst the largest Indian offset partner for defense and aerospace industry, which we already know is booming at present. The issue sizes of approximately is of 500 crores, of which 400 crores is the fresh issue, while the remaining 100 crores is an offer for sale. Now, the promoter holding at present is at 98%, and the price band is of 197 to 207 rupees, which means that the implied market cap at the upper price band comes to approximately 1900 to 2000 crore rupees. Now, the proceeds of the fresh issue is expected to be utilized for paying their debt, for funding their working capital requirements. Also, there would be some investments in their wholly owned subsidiary, which is Ranil Advanced Systems, and there would be some general corporate purposes for which the money would be utilized. Now, in terms of revenue, it's been going quite strong. In fact, the revenues have more than doubled in the past 2 years, which current in FY22 were at 1100 crores versus 450 crores in FY20. The margins have been more or less volatile depending on the clients that they've had. The FY22 order book was approximately 2400 crores, and the company has a mix of domestic and international customers, which includes 26 customers in Israel, US, Korea, India, etc. Some big names like ELTA Systems, Bharat Electronics, Astra Rafael Comsys, Israel Aerospace Industries, etc. Now, in terms of peer comparisons, the company looks reasonably valued when compared with its peers at approximately 31 times, compared with Bharat Electronics, which is at 34 times, Data Patterns at 61 times. Now, some of the key positives for this company is that it is among the leading contract manufacturers for the defense and aerospace industry. The company has clocked a revenue CAGR of 57% in the past 2 years, and is a strong beneficiary of the strong tailwinds which persist in the defense sector, which includes defense indigenization and the government of India's push towards defense exports.
All right. Thanks so much, Vaishta, for getting us all those important details. Let's also hear out the management of the company, S. Ramalingam, the whole-time director of DCX Systems, on the business outlook going forward. And what is it that the investors could be betting on in this IPO? Listen in.
FY22, I have about 467 crores of short-term borrowings in my balance sheet, out of which, out of the 400 crores that I'm taking into the primary for the company, we are repaying about 110 crores towards the banking system. We have a very clear plan of the existing cable and wire harness expanding, system integration business going into other geographies, etc. And also we are getting into a backward integration on EMS PCB assembly. FY22 would be the most ideal year in which all the last 3 years of plan has really come into place, and that probably become the base for the future years to come. And now with backward integration and forward integration into more better margin-oriented areas like EMS and product game, etc., I see the consolidation of margins happening and moving forward.
All right, that is the management of DCX Systems. So with that, we're going to get into a short break now. There's lots more updates lined up for you on the other side of the short break, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch, and take a look at the markets. A quick look at that, 1.11% up on Nifty 50, still at a kissing distance to the 18,000 level at the moment. So that big question remains. But Bank Nifty is the one which has gained some more ground in the last half an hour or trade or so. So SBI, IndusInd Bank are some of those gainers in the last half an hour of trade. Also on my radar is the Aditya Birla Group companies, flagship company Ultratech, which is gaining and has a secular upwards trajectory, while on the other hand, pharma major DRL, after losing a lot of ground, is seeing some buying at the lower level. So keep the market as well as those 18,000 levels on your radar. All right, moving on to an important national development and to some tragic news also coming in and distressing visuals ahead. So I must really caution you on that one. Now, over 100 people have died after a cable bridge collapsed in Gujarat. The incident took place on the Machu River in Morbi district, and rescue operations are underway. Now, the administration, with the help of locals, are engaged in rescuing people who fell in the river after the bridge collapse. CNN News 18 Siddhant Mishra joins us from the ground and gets us all the latest on the rescue operations and the plight of the people in that tragedy. Siddhant, on the ground.
You know, while I was boarding this boat, I saw people taking one more body with them, and that body was kept in the ambulance. So we can expect toll to increase. In fact, the state government also has to say that the toll can increase, but the target is to end the rescue operations by the end of the evening. And reason is because almost most of the patch here has been cleared. The epicenter is this, the where we are passing by. This one spot is the epicenter. Now this one spot has also been cleared underwaters because the debris was removed by with the help of the crane. You can see that crane right there, and then divers went inside the water to check whether anybody is stuck, dead or alive. This bridge connects Morbi 1 to Morbi 2, and it was a very significant bridge because it's almost 100 years old bridge, was being maintained by a private player. Now that private player only developed, renovated this bridge, and this bridge was opened for the normal public. But yesterday, more than 150 people were there on the bridge as per the locals, and then bridge got collapsed. So that, going by the eyewitness account, that was one of the reasons that why bridge got collapsed. Also, FIR has been lodged, SIT teams have been formed by the government to know the exact reason for the collapse of the bridge.
Very, very unfortunate national tragedy there. And Siddharth, our colleague, is reporting straight from the ground. Let's also listen into what Prime Minister Narendra Modi had to say on this particular incident.
मैं एकता नगर में हूं, पर मेरा मन मोरबी के पीड़ितों से जुड़ा हुआ है, लेकिन करुणा से भरा मन उन पीड़ित परिवारों के बीच में है। हादसे में जिन लोगों को अपना जीवन गंवाना पड़ा है, मैं उनके परिवारों के प्रति अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। दुख की इस घड़ी में सरकार हर तरह से पीड़ित परिवारों के साथ है। गुजरात सरकार पूरी शक्ति से कल शाम से ही राहत और बचाव कार्यों में जुटी हुई है।
All right, absolutely heartbreaking news coming in there from Morbi. We are tracking the rescue operations closely. We'll keep bringing you any updates that we can from the ground as well. But there are some more updates that we have to bring you, and more unfortunate news. South Korea is mourning its deadliest tragedy in years after 154 people were killed in a Halloween crowd crush in the capital city of Seoul. The tragedy happened on Saturday night when a massive crowd of partygoers crowded in a narrow alley in the entertainment district. The government probe is underway to determine the exact cause of the accident, but those are some of the visuals from Korea.
All right, more in international developments today. Well, Brazil's former leftist president Lula da Silva has sealed an astonishing political comeback, beating the far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro in one of the most significant and bruising elections in the country's history. In fact, Silva, a former factory worker who became Brazil's first working-class president exactly 20 years ago, had secured 50.8% of the vote, while his opponent, a firebrand who was elected in 2018, received 49.1% votes. Now, Lula's victory marks the first time since Brazil's 1985 return to democracy that the sitting president has failed to win re-election, and Lula's inauguration is scheduled to take place on the 1st of January. He last served as the president from 2003 to 2010. So a very, very big political shift in ideology is what another emerging market, Brazil, and another important growing country, Brazil, is really going through. So that's one historic political development in the international sphere, Pavitra. So that's a big shift really taking place in the world.
Yeah, and what an interesting election for us to watch as well, right? But with that, we're going to wind down on this edition of Business Lunch. The market is holding up fine. It's just around 20 points away from the 18,000 mark, and the Nifty Bank is also rising. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Mid Cap Radar is up next.